Hello and welcome to the PSBB Buzz's second edition. Today is International Practice Day, where we are proud to bring you an international issue, and more on that in the newsroom.
Here are the headlines of the day. International news. Lake found under Antarctic ice. Russian scientists in a major breakthrough have found a lake buried under ice, which is said to be over 20 million years old.
Moving on to national news. Indian government allows airlines to import fuel. The group of ministers allowed the cash-stripped Indian airlines to import fuel.
Mother of all battles, Uttar Pradesh polls begin today. Elections to the State Legislative Assembly in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh will be held today.
Popular Indian cricketer Yuvraj Singh affected with cancer. Doctors say it is a rare but curable ailment. That's all we have for the headlines.
Back to the newsroom.
Now for the weather. Chennai will experience a comfortable morning with a warm and dry afternoon. A cloud cover is to be expected over the city. A pleasant night is likely. The maximum temperature will be 32 degrees centigrade and a minimum 23 degrees centigrade. Good day and back to the newsroom.
We now focus on Uttar Pradesh elections. Battle for Uttar Pradesh begins today as Phase 1 of the State Legislative Assembly polls commences. It will witness a key conflict between four political parties, namely the Bahujan Samaj Party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Samajwadi Party and the Indian National Congress. 862 candidates, out of which 65 are women, are fighting for 55 seats. However, 34% of these very candidates are reported to not have filed their income tax returns, which is a necessary criterion to stand in elections. In the end, democracy will emerge victorious as usual and the views of the majority will prevail. Now, we shall be joined by Akhilesh to present the International News Bulletin for today.
One of the main lessons one takes home from a model United Nations is to not stop at forming viable resolutions, but to take solutions to the streets and make a change.
This is exactly why we, Padma Seshadri Balabhavan Nungambakam, have chosen a topic inspired by that very lesson and relevant in today's world, because we believe in making a change. Hello and welcome to the PSBB Buzz. I'm Sagrika.
I'm Akhilesh.
And I'm Varsha. The topic we've chosen for this edition of News Report crosses oceans, namely maritime piracy. So what exactly is maritime piracy? Maritime piracy is basically robbery or criminal violence at sea. More specifically, raids across land borders by non-state agents.
In modern times, it has included acts such as extortion, hostage-taking, kidnapping for ransom, international shipwrecking and even murder. Let us see what our correspondent has to offer.
Well, clearly maritime piracy seems to be the issue of the world today. Until recently you had a few of the captives released by the Somalian pirates, and these, mark my words, are only a few of them, and many of them still remain captured under the Somalian pirates. Well, they've been captured for more than about 1 year and they wait to come home. So basically it is important to understand the two major aspects of maritime piracy. The first one is when they attack a vessel or a cargo, and the second is when they kidnap the crew members, majorly for a ransom. Well, data shows that Somalia and the Gulf of Aden top the charts in maritime piracy, and the number of pirate attacks in this region has been steadily rising since the year 2007 till 2009. So clearly these regions are the most dangerous for ships, cargoes and vessels to venture into. With camera person Ashwin, this is Durga for BBC News School Report. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Durga. Piracy affects India in many ways. About 25 Indian-owned ships a month sail through the Gulf of Aden, carrying millions of dollars worth of India's sea trade every year. This is an area that harms trade all over the world. The hijackings of the coast of the Gulf of Guinea and the Gulf of Aden make up 1/3 of all global piracy incidents, according to the International Maritime Board. More than 90 ships have been hijacked off the coast of Somalia in 2008.
Let us look at places where piracy has been rampant, brought to you by our correspondent.
Thank you. We first need to understand the reasons for maritime piracy. Taking into consideration two hotspots for maritime piracy in the world, the country of Somalia and the Gulf of Guinea. We had suggestions coming in from our partner school in the UK, the Reefham High School, especially suggestions from a student, Said B. Youngs. Said B says that Somalia is a poor country and its citizens cannot afford to make ends meet, so they resort to criminal activities. Moreover, it would be better if governments and big companies could work with the Somalian government and pirate leaders to agree to donate funds to Somalian education and development in return for guarantees that the pirates would stop operating. Thank you, Saidbi. Moving on to the Gulf of Guinea, this is another hotspot for maritime piracy, and it happened especially after oil was discovered in the Nigerian delta. This has major effects on the countries of the African Union. Most of the attacks happen on dock ships and commercial ships that bring oil. This affects the economies of the countries of US and the countries in this region. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Afreen. Even though the Indian authorities have taken various measures to cope with maritime piracy, the issue is still rampant both nationally and internationally. So what could be possible solutions?
One possible solution could be the taking of help of various international organizations such as the Maritime Organization of Western and Central Africa and the International Maritime Organization that have come together to form the sub-regional Coast Guard network.
Another possible solution could be the culmination of all the countries in the African Union to work towards curbing maritime piracy in association with countries that are affected.
Countries could propose safer shipping lanes, security at docks and night patrols to curb piracy incidents.
Now let me leave you with a thought. Many countries in Africa have under-equipped armies, but piracy groups are reported to have high-tech machinery. From where do the arms and the funding come from? This is an unanswered question. Until next time, for BBC News School Report.
Please feel free to send us your views at psbbuzz@gmail.com.
Till then, goodbye and have a good day.